This is Esohe Yamu from the business desk at Next. I'll ask you to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Ade Ipaye is my name. Special advisor to the Governor of Lagos State on Taxation and Revenue. Well, I guess at the core of it is our attempt to involve more people in paying taxes. And that may well account for the huge increase that we've got. You see, in the past, the emphasis had been on the salary earners because the taxes were deducted at source, so it was a very easy target. But of course, tax payment is a universal obligation. So we thought if we were able to spread the tax net, we'll get a lot more, and that's exactly what has happened. And as we get more, we're able to do more. People begin to associate what they pay to what they see on the streets, and that is an impetus for more people to come on board and pay. So we have a lot more people complying now than we ever had. Well, in terms of taxes, definitely we can still be more efficient with our administration. We've been working on that, but one would like to imagine a situation where our taxpayer database is very comprehensive, and we have an automatic way of following up on outstanding dues, and people are able to pay in the easiest possible way without incurring extra costs in trying to make the payment. And then, of course, we still have the challenge of getting more people to comply. So even though we've had improvements, we are not there yet. A lot of people are still not paying what they should. So those are things that we are addressing now. Well, what I always say about that is that we need to put things in perspective first, because if we don't, we might discover that the problem is exaggerated. It's not really that bad. Why do I say this? Nigeria is a federation. We have the federal government, state government, local government councils, all with their respective obligations as governments, and all with independent sources of revenue. So the way our tax system is made up is a few taxes being collected by the federal government, a few taxes being collected by the state, and several other levies and fees and things like that being collected at the local government council level. So you are always going to have multiple taxation anyway. The thing is to eliminate illegal taxes, arbitrary assessment, use of touts for collection. I think those are really the problems. You cannot, for instance, harmonize local government taxes into one, because it then becomes impossible to pay. It must be a huge tax, isn't it? So the system adopted is that you pay a bit here, a bit there, depending on what you do. A lot of what we call levies, for instance, may never apply to you, because if you don't own a shop, you don't pay shop and kiosk levy. If you don't have an abattoir, that line does not apply to you at all. If you don't, for instance, there are all sorts of such levies tied to particular activities. That's why it seems that we have so many. But go to any other country and you will have so many. So what is wrong with our system are illegal levies, as I said, arbitrary assessments, use of touts for collection, and things like that. We tend to have that more at the local government level, but it can come up at the state level. For instance, we arrested some guys a few months ago. They were issuing tickets and printed on it was Lagos State Ministry of Transportation. They said they were collecting parking charges and all that. So as you park, they give you a ticket. Now, of course, nobody sent them, and somebody reported, we went and got them arrested. So it may have nothing to do with the state, and indeed it may have nothing to do with the local government council. Some people just wake up and decide that that's a good way to make good money. So they set themselves up, and unless people are vigilant or they complain to the relevant authorities, you find that operations like that can yield, continue to yield millions to the illegal operators. So we are trying to stamp that out now anyway. We have a bill still with the House of Assembly, but I expect that it will come out very shortly, which will penalize all such activities specifically and give us a definitive list of taxes and levies payable in Lagos State, how you pay, when you pay, how much it is, and all, so that all of us can have the same reference point. So if someone accosts you for whatever, you can check and decide whether it is indeed what you are required by law to pay. Now, tax consultants are not necessarily illegal. It depends on what you use them for. You would always have use for consultants anyway. Take a place like Lagos. I mean, we have hundreds of thousands of companies purporting to collect tax from their staff on behalf of the state government. A lot of them don't remit at all. Some don't remit what they should. And so we need to check on these companies. There's no way we'll set up an operation, employ staff that will be able to cope with that magnitude of activity. So what we do is engage firms of tax practitioners, accountants, give them an assignment. The assignment is to go audit and give us a report. They don't raise assessment, they don't charge taxes, they don't collect taxes. All they do is audit. And then again, we have this e-pay system. We try to computerize our payment systems. We say you could pay through any of the banks, virtually all the bank branches. We must have a way of collating all this information. That's a huge IT undertaking, which the state is not in a position to run. I mean, it's not even advisable. That is not typically an assignment that you want to put in the state civil service, because it requires a reward system bigger than the state civil service can cope with, update of equipment, machinery. I mean, it is a private sector undertaking. So we give it to a consultant who is helping us to set up the system, collect the payments, just give us on a daily basis how much is coming in. I mean, there cannot possibly be anything wrong with that. So to answer your question, it depends on what you are using consultants for. By the time you send consultants out to collect taxes or to assess people, then you are using them illegally. We don't do that. I always say that my own experience is that we help each other. When states, personnel from other states come to us, we exchange information, we exchange ideas, and while they are learning from us, I find that we also have one or two things to learn from them. And another thing that is good to talk about is the fact that the economic structure of the states are not quite the same. So it is not like you can go into a state and copy its model. But certain things are essential, they are basic. For instance, your most important for me is your legal structure. So, of course, we have a few laws which others have thought profitable to adopt. Then your structure for tax administration, your whatever you call it, Board of Internal Revenue or Internal Revenue Service, whatever you choose to call it, is your prime structure for administering tax. And you find that the efficiency of that structure may well determine your fortune, whether you do well or not do well. So the model that we offer, which of course the federal government has also used, is to take that structure out of the civil service so that they can be paid well beyond what you would ordinarily pay civil servants. They can be equipped, they can be given all the resources to work as if they were in the private sector. Because after all, they are dealing with people in the private sector. So if your companies have better accountants, better lawyers, better administrative staff than government, or the government agency that they are dealing with, they will always get the better of you. So we think that there is no way we would attract the best unless we match them in terms of financial and material resources, technology and all that. Although we mustn't generalize too much. I mean, the way the civil service is organized, well, civil service may be more efficient in X state than in Y states to start with. And then we are also committed as a state to improving the civil service generally, and we are working on that. You will see virtually every office in Alausa now, you have full computer equipment and all that. So clearly there's a change, training is going on at all levels. But we thought this agency, the change here has to be more rapid than everywhere else, because this is the agency that will give us the money to deal with other issues. So it was more like jump-starting the improvement program with that organization, you know. And then, of course, there's also the obvious fact that if you have an organization where the staff deal with money issues, I mean, they are recovering billions, hundreds of millions on a daily basis, you have to look into their remuneration conditions of service if you are serious about not having corruption within the system. So, so it's more compelling to attend to that agency more quickly than you would others. But the reform issue is going on generally. It's a program that we're implementing across the system. Well, we are hopeful. We are hopeful that since we are all so still dependent on sale of oil and gas, we are told 95% of the forex that we get. And forex is so important to all of us because we are so dependent on imports for everything. I mean, food, for clothing, for vehicles, machinery, and so on. So we hope that we'll see the upward trend in crude oil prices being maintained, and then we hope that there will be a quick resolution to the Niger Delta issue so that we can sustain the production output that we need. And then within the economy, we hope that industry will improve. What has sort of depressed our industry or manufacturing sector is the power. And, well, we see that there's a serious attempt now to do something about it. We do hope that that will bear fruit before year's end. And if it does, I predict that we will see a significant improvement in the economy. I mean, if that singular factor is improved upon, and then the entire economy will improve.